If you're planning on catching a flight this summer, be prepared to have your temperature checked. Today, the Prime Minister announced passengers traveling by plane to, from, or within Canada will be tested. Anyone with a fever will not be allowed to board. The new measures will be phased in starting at the end of this month. Temperature checks only screen for one COVID-19 symptom, but the government says this is an extra layer of safety. The federal government is extending its military operation inside Ontario and Quebec long-term care homes by 2 weeks until June 26th. Quebec's premier had asked the military to extend its deployment in hard-hit care homes until mid-September. The government says it's planning to replace soldiers with trained members of the Canadian Red Cross. It's National Blood Donor Week, but a portion of Canadians who want to give aren't allowed. Canadian Blood Services rules force men who have sex with men to wait 3 months before they can donate. It's a policy the Prime Minister calls discriminatory and promised to end it 5 years ago. As Abigail Beeman reports, the matter is now in court.
Christopher Karras tried to donate blood. Instead, he ended up in court.
It makes me feel like I'm of little value.
When he learned he was banned from donating as a gay man, Karras launched a case with the Canadian Human Rights Commission. Even though ending the ban was a 2015 Liberal campaign promise, the government is now fighting Karras in federal court.
I was really surprised and shocked.
We will work to end this discrimination.
Friday, Trudeau said more changes are coming soon.
And at that time, I was
NDP MP Randall Garrison has been pushing to end it for 6 years. He launched another motion this week.
There simply is no science to show that there is a risk to the blood supply from eliminating these discriminatory restrictions.
When you look at the risk factors associated with new diagnoses of HIV in Canada, it is still related.
According to Health Canada, in 2018, there were 2,529 newly diagnosed HIV cases. 41.4% of them involved men who had sex with other men. Canadian Blood Services says managing donors and supply is a complicated balance. Safety concerns are rooted in Canada's tainted blood scandal when thousands of people contracted HIV and hepatitis C in the 1980s.
Where we're wanting to go in due course, if the research suggests that it's possible, is to a different kind of screening questionnaire entirely.
That's the idea of a behaviors-based screening, questions for everybody about what kind of behaviors they engaged in. Canadian Blood Services tests all donations for diseases including HIV. The concern surrounds what's known as the window period, after infection but before the virus is detectable. Dr. Dustin Costescu says he'd support a short deferral period that applies to everyone.
Asking people to defer their behaviors for a week prior to donation or afterwards, many people would make that sacrifice.
Costescu says when there's a call out for blood donations, like at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, it feels like a slap in the face in the LGBT community. Global News asked the Prime Minister if he plans to drop the case against Christopher Karras, but he didn't answer. Abigail Beeman, Global News, Ottawa.
Sunday on Coronavirus, the new reality.
We clearly don't understand the pathology of it yet.
Tackling the ultimate medical mystery.
I don't think we've ever experienced something like this.
The race to crack the COVID code.
It's a precarious point for all of us.
Sunday at 7 on Global.